The Ordinary Discussion Podcast.
But the high challenge, high grace diagram, imagine a chart, or even if in case we don't get it up there, imagine a,
timeout. Imagine a timeout.
yeah, imagine a timeout, like an X, but vertical. And so we have high invitation or high grace on the upper, and then we have high challenge on the right. So it creates 4 quadrants, let's say it that way. And so the quadrants are, if you give people high grace, but you give them low challenge, it creates a consumerism culture, right? And you see that. It's like high grace, low challenge. That's kind of what we're talking about with what we've experienced in our faith growing up is a lot of this consumerism mindset. And then if we give people low grace, which is like we're browbeating them, you got to do this all the time, like you're terrible, but we also give them low truth or low challenge, then it creates a very bored culture or very apathetic. And you could see that. It's like, man, nobody's giving me any challenge, but yet they're also beating me up constantly. Like it's a bad place to be. And then there's a high challenge, low grace environment, which we know those environments as well. And it's kind of the fire brimstone, very legalistic, type environments. Yeah. And that creates a very stressed culture. But what we have and what we're creating and what we want to preserve is a high grace, high challenge culture. And so what that creates is a discipling culture. And so we just believe that you can bring challenge and grace together. It's hard to do, don't get me wrong. I don't know that I do it well all the time, but that's where we hope to be in these groups in this process.
Yeah, this has really stretched me, honestly, because I think that I tend to be a little more high challenge than high grace. And I've had to catch myself a few times, remembering that grace is just as important as challenge.
Well, it's tough to know. It's tough to know when it's challenge and when it should be grace, right?
Yeah.
And so, especially when you're leading people, it's like, yeah, you have sympathy for sometimes people have things in life and they had a commitment. Yeah. And so I think we just have to be loving in it. And it's a tough, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. It's a tough thing to walk out, but that's where we want to live.